Hi, so this video is maybe a little bit different from my other videos because it's not a subject I've spoken about before, but I want to talk about solemnity and when certain occasions call for solemnity and how some people can't seem to understand that. So, just a disclaimer here, I'm probably considered by my peers, by other people, as quite a serious person. I'm not strong on comedy. I'm not the sort of person that can easily tell jokes. I can tell a few, but I'm not that funny, right? That's fine. I know that. I'm a pretty serious person. I'm pretty sentimental, serious-minded. Doesn't mean I don't have a sense of humor. There are many things I find pretty funny, but I do feel strongly that certain occasions warrant a certain degree of professionalism and seriousness. And I must admit, it annoys me when some people can't seem to grasp that. So, just give an example as a sort of to give some context to where I'm coming from. I've just watched a video from the Gettysburg battlefield in Pennsylvania in the United States. Anyone who knows history, Gettysburg was the turning point of the American Civil War. Very important battlefield. I've long had an interest in it. I visited there back in 1999. I have a distant ancestor actually who fell on the Union side at Little Round Top, which was the second day of the battle. Charles Edward Hazlett. He commanded a Union battery on the Little Round Top Hill, which was a critical point of the battle. Anyway, came across this video and it looked like an interesting video talking about a blood-stained article from the battle and actually belonged to a young officer by the name of, I think it was Captain Fuller. Anyway, he died at Little Round Top, or he was wounded at Little Round Top, and his personal journal was blood-stained. Now, the American battlefield historians who covered this, clearly they knew their stuff, clearly they had a genuine interest in the subject matter. But I noticed, and a lot of other people noticed, sort of like a 3-minute segment. They had this artifact, and they were at the point where Fuller fell, and they kept talking about how cool it was, and that's okay, it's interesting. But one guy kept laughing, and I'm thinking that's pretty inappropriate. Like you're literally at the spot where this man fell, and okay, it's beyond living memory, but it's not ancient history. Um, and you're kind of laughing. Some people seem to um lack judgment in terms of body language. Now, people might say I'm reading too much into it. They might say that I'm being too precious about it. But I wasn't the only one who felt that way. If you look at the comments, I'll put a link to the video. And by the way, my aim here is not to vilify the historians. They were, clearly they know their stuff, and I'm sure they weren't doing it maliciously. But there's other examples. I mean, I've seen newsreaders with a big smile on their face whilst reporting about a murder or a disaster, and it's very unprofessional. Um, I've never understood that. I've never understood people who cannot seem to judge a serious situation versus an informal situation. And I have to say, it annoys me. I think it's disrespectful. I don't think it's being self-righteous because it's not about me. It's about respecting victims of a disaster or military fallen. It's just about having a degree of decorum, and if that makes me stuffy, I'd rather be seen as stuffy than infantile, to be honest. So let me know your thoughts. I've heard of this thing, the nervous laugh. That is when people are nervous, they kind of inadvertently smile or laugh, and I sort of understand that. I'm sort of sympathetic to it. Maybe they are feeling tense under a certain situation. But I think, I mean, put it this way, if I was running a news network, if I was the CEO or the owner or whatever of a big news network, and I had an anchor person and they were smiling during a serious report, I would have some pretty firm words with them. Um, or I'll give another example. A few years ago, I came across these traffic police who posted selfies next to a road accident, flipping road accident, where someone had been taken to hospital. Now, it wasn't a fatality, but I thought that was pretty disrespectful to the families. And then you get these people saying, oh, it's pearl clutching or it's being too serious. Well, serious situations call for serious treatment. Now, I understand if you're in a particular profession, let's say the police or other emergency services or something, you're seeing death all the time, and I totally appreciate that you would need a way to diffuse, to relax, to unwind. But I still think it needs to carry a certain degree of um, judgment to the situation at hand. I mean, you wouldn't go to a funeral with the grieving family and laugh, right? Or tell jokes, unless, of course, the deceased, that was what they wanted. But some people do. I mean, I saw a video of an Irishman who died, and he actually had his voice recording at his funeral. Now, that's what he wanted. That's great. The guy had a sense of humor. That's what he wanted. But what I'm talking about is just having, there's nothing wrong with being serious in situations that call for being serious. It's also to do with professionalism. I mean, is that unreasonable? I don't think it is. Um, then we get into the territory of black humor, dark humor. I think it definitely has a place, and I'll just touch on this just to round up. Some people actually defend mocking a disaster or mocking other people's suffering, and then have the arrogance to say, "Oh, have a sense of humor." My retort to that would be, tell the grieving family to have a sense of humor. There's a fine line between being edgy and being cruel. There really is. And I think it's preposterous to tell grieving relatives to have a sense of humor. Um, so let me know your thoughts. I just think serious situations call for a degree of professionalism and seriousness. They really do. I mean, I wouldn't make a video about the Holocaust with a big grin on my face because it's a serious subject matter. And I think some people don't know their own body language. I really do. I think I'm a fairly good judge of my body language. At least I hope I am. And I don't intend this to be pompous. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else, but I just think it is disrespectful. So, anyway, let me know your thoughts. I don't want to go around in circles with this. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree that somber situations require a somber attitude? Because I think that's a no-brainer. I think they do. I mean, you wouldn't go to the cenotaph on Remembrance Day, and tell jokes, as the nation's having a 1 minute silence. It just isn't done. It's just certain situations that require. I mean, sometimes there's a backlash. I'll give an example. Um, Popular YouTuber, I forget the guy's name now, but anyway, he went to the famous suicide forest in Japan. This is a place that is well known for being a point of suicide, and he was being very flippant about the whole way he was covering it, and a lot of people took exception to that, and he ended up having to make a pretty public apology. Now, if people make mistakes, I don't believe in punishing people for life. I think if people make a mistake, they apologize, then we can move on. But that's just an example of why people need to understand that certain places and certain situations just warrant a degree of solemnity. It's, if you're a decent person, that shouldn't be too hard to understand. Let me know your thoughts. Um, I'll put a link to that video. I mean, you might disagree. You might think I'm reading too much into it. But if I am, I'm not the only one. If you look at the comments, a lot of people were saying the same thing. And I've left a few comments there so you can see my position. I'm not attacking these historians. I'm not trying to vilify them. I'm just saying that that was a bad judgment call. They were laughing throughout this video when they're literally at the site where this guy fell. And it's just, let me know your thoughts.